Hi, welcome to Antiques Down Under, our television program on antiques and collectibles.
We're searching for incredible collections, priceless rarities and curious artefacts. And along the way, we'll meet some people with the most unbelievable treasures.
This time on Antiques Down Under, I discover an amazing collection of vintage cars.
We unearth exquisite William Morris stained glass windows hidden in plain sight in Adelaide.
We're on the trail of some missing lions.
I want to take Gregory to meet a gracious, grand old lady who lives in downtown Sydney. She's over 90 years old and she's looking fabulous.
This is the Palace of Dreams, the State Theatre, one of Sydney's architectural treasures. Today we're going to chat with Stuart Green, who leads the guided tours here, but he's also the keeper of its history. Stuart, looking around, the State Theatre is this incredible mix of it's Italianate, it's Gothic, it's Art Deco. Why is it this crazy mix? Is that typical of picture palace architecture?
Not always. Usually they were one style, but this one was designed to attract audiences. They used to say in this period, we sell tickets to theatres, not to movies, and it was revivalist architecture which mixed and matched all those different styles.
So the State was built in 1929.
Yes.
Difficult times for the world.
Yes, we opened on 7th of June 1929, 4 months before the Great Depression. Life was very tough, no television, no computers, no home phones, etc. So these theatres were built to sort of give people an escape from the harsh realities of life in that period.
And look at it, what an escape.
By 1934, the Gothic frontage was considered old hat, so half of the building was transformed in the modern Art Deco style with black, vitrolite glass and chrome. The Gothic entrance hall is a tribute to King George V. There are statues of King Arthur and St George. The glorious golden ceiling is a reproduction of the fan pendant ceiling in the Henry VII Chapel in Westminster Abbey.
It's hard to believe that in the 1970s they wanted to tear this glorious palace down. I mean, what was the thinking in those days?
Well, in the 60s and 70s this was considered junk architecture. Newspaper articles of the time described as a tacky old movie palace, but it just wasn't appreciated in this period. Now, of course, it's celebrated as a major example of the movie palace.
As it should be.
Yeah.
With the development of the stylish QT Hotel, which utilises the Gowings building and the State's old office block, the facade was reinstated, bringing back the knights and gargoyles that had been a feature in the 20s. The magnificent mosaic floors are being painstakingly restored. The State Theatre's called in an 82-year-old master tradesman and his apprentice. The State's neon is new and looking great. It's a reproduction of the original, which had been damaged over the years.
Gregory, here you are. Where have you been hiding?
I've been looking at all this beautiful artwork, the magnificent collection, and I found a Lindsay, one of my favourite artists.
Is that Norman or Lionel?
It's Raymond.
Norman's first son.
Oh!
It's an incredible collection. What's the story behind it?
This was a publicity stunt for the State Theatre, and it was an Australia-wide art competition and all the winners were hung up here. And we include such famous artists as William Dobell, Charles Wheeler, Mary Edwards, Howard Ashton, John D. Moore, and also behind us here a Thea Proctor silk fan.
If the place had been demolished, what would have happened, do you think, to these artworks?
Oh, they would have been auctioned off. Most of the statuary and so forth would have all been auctioned off.
They would have gone into private collections and the public would never have seen them again.
That's right.
Maybe some of them could have gone overseas.
Yes, yeah.
We're just so lucky.
Yep, certainly are.
You know, every time I come to the State Theatre, I just can't take my eyes off that cut crystal chandelier.
Claudia, it is absolutely magnificent. I've never seen one so large.
Certainly is. It's 3.5 tonnes, about 17,200 pieces, 2.5 stories high from top to bottom, 350 globes, and 2 4-tonne counterweights holding it up on top of the projection box.
And how often do they clean it?
Every 6 months. It comes down to seat level, and we've got a scaffold, put a scaffold and plank it to get up to the top.
And what do they use to clean it?
Spray and wipe. It's all done by hand.
Can you believe we're in this magnificent picture palace of dreams that was saved for future generations of Australians to come along and enjoy an evening's entertainment?
Oh, it's fabulous, isn't it? And to think we're sitting in the same seats that they did 90 years ago, and 90 more to come, I say.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It is. Popcorn?
If I must. Today's What Is It segment is being filmed at Small and Whitfield Auction Rooms in Adelaide, and we're going to be asking the public to guess what this item is.
To tell you the truth, I haven't got a clue. No, couldn't tell. It is a mystery object.
Do they come out? They don't come out, do they? No. I think it's to predict earthquakes.
Could it be a kind of a level, perhaps? Or just a teaser game?
A teaser game, that's a good one.
Because we have them now made out of metal, but
Yeah.
this could have been just like a little toy or something, try and get them to line up in their certain pattern. I don't know. I'm stumped.
Do you want to guess the mystery object? Head to our Facebook and Instagram pages to enter. Hi Lee, how's the fair going?
Hi Greg, great.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You have an incredible collection of ceramics. You later in the year last year managed to obtain permission to sell this incredible collection of Bow porcelain. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The Bow Porcelain Factory is particularly important because it was the first English factory to produce porcelain at all. This makes it historically significant, but of course it's artistically significant.
Now, in the collection there's two favourite things that I see here in this cabinet. And this is a pair of lions. But there's a special story about these two pieces. What can you tell us about them?
Barry Taylor, the collector from whom these pieces come, bought one of the lions about 20 years ago. Some years later, another collector in Melbourne bought a white lion and very excitedly rang Barry up and said, "You've got to see what I've just bought," and took it round to his house and they put them on the table together, and it immediately became apparent that they were a pair. Early porcelain will fire to different sizes and different colours depending on all sorts of things such as where the clay came from, when it was fired, differences in the firing. And so the only way to get two pieces exactly the same is if they're fired together in the kiln. And so for the next 10 years, every time they met, they argued over who was going to sell the other his bow lion to reunite the pair. Eventually the other collector died and his widow sent his entire collection to a dealer in London. Barry followed the lion across to London, bought the lion and brought it back to Melbourne.
It's incredible.
And so here they are after some 250 years reunited.
We're going to look at a piece of Wedgwood, which is where you first started, isn't it?
It is.
It is. Now, what can you tell us about this gorgeous bowl in this cabinet?
Well, this is a slop bowl.
Slops.
Slops.
Oh dear, what was that all about?
Slop bowl was a part of every tea set in the 18th century. The lady of the house would make tea at the tea table, and whenever a fresh pot of tea was required, the slops from the pot would be emptied into this bowl so that she could make a fresh pot. Her guests could also empty their cups into it if the tea had become cold. And so here it is.
When did they start drinking tea in England, do you think?
I haven't the faintest idea.
And continuing around your stall, we've now got another intriguing piece with an incredible story. You seem to collect these incredible pieces with these stories. It's amazing how you find them.
I like things that are not only beautiful but also have interest to them, either in their history, their appearance, or just as in this case, what it is.
Yes. Now we've got a tankard here in this cabinet.
This is an interesting tankard, made by Worcester in about 1770, but somewhere around the mid-19th century, I think. Most of the pattern has been removed from it, probably with acid, and has been completely repainted with a scene of hair coursing in these beautiful bright colours.
Which was fashionable at those times.
It was possibly to make it look like a much rarer piece of Worcester that would be more valuable. And indeed, even now it looks like it could be, but we know that you simply do not get this sort of pattern on Worcester in the 1770s, and there are far too many colours in it for it to be early. The early painters had a palette of 8, 9, 10 colours. By counting up the colours, you can often date a piece.
So virtually we've got a piece that is original, but also a piece that is original and fake.
It is.
Interesting, isn't it?
Normally we would avoid redecorated pieces of Worcester, but in this case, if it's a piece that the dealer is being honest about, and it's an attractive and interesting piece because of the redecoration, and the redecoration is old, then you've again got a particular class of antique with its own special interest.
You certainly have.
I'm here in the old Adelaide Stock Exchange building. It's Edwardian brick, finished in 1901. And when you climb to the top of the stairs, there's the most wonderful surprise. The stained glass window behind me is by Morris and Company. Morris is William Morris, the grandfather of the arts and crafts movement. This was a reaction against industrialisation, going back to the handcrafted, the handmade. And he was famous for his wonderful wall hangings, tapestries, carpets, furniture, and of course, stained glass. Adelaide's the home of some remarkable William Morris and Company designs. In fact, the Federation window is one of 10 stained glass windows that were created and shipped to Adelaide. This one, though, is the only window that was depicting current events in Australia.
The window commemorates an important moment in Australia's history, the Federation of Australia in 1901. In its lower panels, there are figures representing Britain and her colonies. The concept is that the sun never sets on the British Empire.
I'm here at the All Souls Anglican Church in St Peter's in Adelaide, and I'm with Brenton, who is the local organist, but he's also a bit of an honorary historian for this fantastic church. Hi, Brenton. Hi. So I want to ask you, the amazing thing about this church is that you've got 5 William Morris stained glass windows. How on earth does that happen in Adelaide?
Yes, well, we are very fortunate, but it's really unfortunate in the way that most of those windows were bequeathed by the relatives, the parents of soldiers who were killed in World War I.
Ah, so it's a tragic legacy.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a tragic legacy.
This includes the large war window, which was designed by John Henry Durrell, and it's dedicated to 18-year-old Kenneth Coppin Went, who was killed in the Battle of Bulcourt in 1917. The window is specially modified, and you can see that it depicts the khaki Australian Army uniform and slouch hat.
Herman Coppin Went, who was the father of Kenneth, when he died, the Went family decided to balance the windows on either side of the church by putting in a big memorial to Herman Coppin Went. And that window is called the peace window because in the middle Jesus is holding his hands out in a gesture of peace. I like to think that the young chap with the book on the right-hand part of the window in blue, I like to think that that's actually Kenneth, the son, welcoming his dad into heaven.
So we've been looking at these beautiful William Morris stained glass windows, but of course he's really best known for incredible furnishings. And Brenton, I believe there's someone here in Adelaide who is continuing that legacy.
Certainly not me, but it is Michelle.
Ah, I think we need to go and have a chat to Michelle now. This is Michelle Hill, and Michelle is an extraordinary woman. She's not only the author of many books, but she's also an incredible quilter whose work is inspired by William Morris. Why is it that Adelaide has such a marvellous Morris collection?
The main reason is there were three families, the Barr-Smith family, the Elders and the Brookmans. They made their wealth shipping merchants. They invested in mining and made a fortune, and they had their homes furnished in Morris. It was the thing to do.
So tell me about the Morris motifs. We know he's inspired by an organic, natural world. What are some of the elements that you put into your work?
What I love about Morris is he's a master at repeat pattern. He loved everything medieval. He collected old textiles, in particular brocades and chintzes, and a lot of the brocades were great repeats, so he was able to interpret his way of repeating nature. And I love symmetry and repeat pattern, and it just felt really natural for me to do it.
How long does it take you to do a quilt like this?
I probably only do 2 a year, so that shows how long they take, from the drawing to the last stitch.
Michelle's magnificent quilts really capture the William Morris spirit. William Morris once said, "Have nothing in your houses that you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful." Well, that philosophy shows in everything he touched. Beautiful indeed.
We're in the Wicks Museum, and I believe you're a great friend of Malcolm Wicks. What can you tell us about this museum?
Oh, Malcolm Wicks and his museum are legend in South Australia, because Malcolm started collecting cars and putting a museum together long before anyone else thought that it was a feasible proposition. He liked cars that were unusual. He liked cars that needed a bit of work doing on them, and some which had a connection to his youth.
We're standing beside a yellow cab. This is an incredible vehicle. There's history behind this. What can you tell us about it?
Yellow cabs came into Adelaide in about 1925. There were about 16 of them imported from America. They ran them until about 1932. When yellow cabs sold them, they sold them on the provision that you had to remove the body, because they didn't want opposition getting hold of them and using them on the roads.
So Wicks bought this cab and stripped the body off to replace his Model T Ford as a runabout on their nursery. It was abandoned at some stage in a shed until he decided to restore it.
And he decided that he would gather as much paraphernalia, like the meter, the fire extinguisher, the special lights that they had, and build his own yellow cab. Passenger in, door shut.
Marvellously comfortable, aren't they?
You could travel quite nicely in this, couldn't you?
I think you could. I think the aristocracy of Adelaide must have loved it.
If you had your children with you, you have two seats which fold down, still leave you plenty of room, and they can sit in there as well.
Yeah. The privacy screen.
Oh, yes, well,
brilliant idea.
You've got a driver in the front that you don't know, so if you wanted to have a little chat in the back, or perhaps something else might want to happen, you can just slide the screen across,
and that's it.
You've got your privacy. They weren't a speedy car. 25 mile an hour was their top speed.
Right.
Have you guessed what this item is? I'll give you a hint. It lived next to a box of Twinings.
I'm with Mr. Peter Arman from Small and Whitfield Auctions. And Peter, you've done a lot of research on this item.
We've had a good look at it, Greg, yes.
But now, can you tell me what it is and what it does?
Well, I heard one of the ladies say before that it may be a baby rattle. I can guarantee you that it's not a baby rattle with the mercury in the base there. It's called a scaleberry. They're made in Bendigo and in London, and it's actually for softening water. So the instructions on the box are to stir it in your tea or your coffee, and it will enhance the flavour of your tea and coffee.
Unbelievable.
Yes. So not something we see in the auction room very often either.
Very rare.
So it was something that I thought I had to bring along today to see if you could
fantastic.
See if someone could work out what it was.
Next time on Antiques Down Under, we tune in to Bakelite Radios.
Claudia discovers a farmhouse full of treasures.
And Gregory discovers a bottler of a collection.
Buxton Manor, the last of the arts and crafts gentlemen's residences in Adelaide. Inspired, of course, by William Morris.
And another one of the city's historic treasures. We'll see you next time on Antiques Down Under.